All right. Well, welcome everybody in today. Thank you for being here. This is a recorded webinar. David, did you have anything you wanted to say to start us off?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, good morning, one and all. I'm David Rotenizer, Executive Director with the Montgomery County Regional Tourism Office, and I'd like to welcome everyone for taking time from your very busy schedules to join us today. And we are excited to be partnering with Miles Partnership to help you, the businesses, attractions, and residents of Montgomery County. And also, we have our friends in the New River Valley joining us as well to help improve your online presence. This is just one of many opportunities to learn more about how to work with your Google business profile. So enjoy today's presentation. I know you'll find it very, very informative. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well said, David. I like that. That was a good one. Well, again, thank you everyone for joining today. This is our second of our two online webinars basing off of how to maximize exposure for your Google business profile. Today is what I really say is kind of the meat and potatoes of your exposure. This is where we're going to get into the increases of what we can do to get the most out of it. Last time we got ourselves kind of started, we got ourselves verified, we moved through some steps to make sure our information is accurate so that our consumer confidence would be high. Today, it's all about making sure that our consumers are finding us easily. So again, my name is Henry Winkle. If you can't tell, I guess, own very many shirts. I didn't even realize I put this on today, but I'm the Destination Optimization Program Coordinator with Miles Partnership. Miles Partnership is a strategic marketing company focused exclusively on travel and tourism. Destination Optimization has worked with over 280 destinations who have taken a part of some form of our program. We have audited over 150,000 points of interest, and we have worked one-on-one with over 8,000 business owners and managers. This is going to be put in here a few times today, here at the beginning and towards the end. We had it last time. I know a few people took advantage of this, but this is office hours. This is an opportunity for anybody on this call today to meet with myself, actually, for a free 15-minute consultation about your business profile. Are you looking to have any type of, I can just review it. Hey, how am I doing? Are you having an issue getting verified? Are you having an issue uploading photos? These are things that we actively work through. Do you want to learn how to make your very own little cute QR code with the Google dinosaur in it? I can help you do that. These calls are really helpful for a lot of people. So if you have an issue, let me know. The link's in the chat. Thank you, Lisa. So for session 2, our maximizing exposure, we will be talking about increasing our relevance on our Google business profiles, how to leverage our photography, updating with posts, kind of like a free marketing with Google, how to respond to Q&A, managing our customer reviews, and lastly, how to monitor our performance on Google. So to get things started today, we're going to go over our categories. So last time we talked a little bit about our 3-pack or our local pack, our distance, relevance, and prominence. Our categories are going to fall pretty heavily into our relevance factor. So our example with this is going to be your category would really fall into the first half of this search. It could be restaurants, it could be places to eat, it could be, if you're looking for a place to play bingo, and then a location. This location could be near me, as we discussed last time, but keep that in mind. So this is what we're going to get, our 3-pack. Now, if your categories are not set up correctly, you might not be showing up in searches that you want to be showing up in. So adding these relevant categories can significantly expand where a business shows up because it matches more searches and matches those keywords on what people might be looking for. Now, you might be asking yourselves, well, I have categories, but I'm not sure Google would have it. Google has a lot of categories. They add some, they take some away every year, but they currently have over 4,000 categories to choose from. We are only limited to what Google gives us, unfortunately. If they let us come up with our own categories, I'm positive you can imagine the crazy kind of world we would see ourselves in with all the insane categories out there. But For the time being, we have the 4,000 categories that Google has given us. So to edit our categories, we are going to go to edit profile. So when we go to our search engine and we go to our business, we can click on edit profile. We click there, and from the second to the top is going to be business categories. Now notice here that there's not just one, there's actually multiples. And that is really important because you get one primary category and 9 subcategories on Google. This is also relevant to other platforms as well. Many platforms allow for multiple categories. So your primary category is what everyone's going to see. That's what your main business is. But your subcategories, your additional, could be things that you also offer. Restaurants, you can usually pretty easily get these 10 categories. Hotels are also really easy to get this. However, the average here is going to be about 4 or 5. So don't push it try to think you need to come up with all 10. It's just adding a couple extra in. We'll also talk about why that's important and what else that gains you by adding these categories besides just showing up in more searches. So our attributes are what distinguish our businesses. What's different about us? What's different about your business? How are you going to stand out? If you've played with Google, you've probably come through a couple of these already. But what do your customers look for? Are they looking for, are they looking for dine-in, takeout, delivery? And maybe they want to see that the ownership of this business, and maybe that's meaningful to them, that they are going to be confident to visit your business because you're displaying the ownership that they feel passionately about. So adding these attributes can create customer confidence. That's a great way for us to get our customers in the door and make sure that they keep returning. To edit your attributes, you're going to go into the same edit profile button as categories, and then you're going to go all the way to the right here to more. When we do that, we are going to get a couple different options here from the business, accessibility, amenities, crowd. Depending on your categories too, categories might give you different options under your attribute section. So there are a lot of attributes, and some of these are we have to dive a little bit pretty deep into. But for the most part, they're going to appear in a lot of different places. One thing I want to point out too is it's not just Google that has these attributes. Diversity attributes are an important part of all of this. Businesses can self-identify with a number of attributes, including Black-owned, women-led. This is available on Google, on Yelp, TripAdvisor, and all of this is highly searchable. So making sure that you can go in here and set that is a great way to be found and for people to recognize what you are offering. Menus and services are another great way that we can promote what our business offers. So menus are a really good way for maybe like a restaurant to display their menu that they have on there, and then also to make it searchable. For restaurants, that's really important. We want our menus to be searchable. For a business who offers different types of products or services, we want those also to be searchable, and we want them to be displayed, very upfront when somebody searches for our business. So for our menu, it looks a lot like this here, the one on the left. It gives us an overview with a really bright, beautiful picture. Our customers are able to upload to our menu section. Be aware of that. Be aware of the photography that they're also posting into this section, because I cannot promise it's always going to be good of that food. But go in there, upload your menu into here. As you can see, if I am looking for an Eggs Benedict near me, and then you put this onto Google, guess now what's going to be searchable. For services, this could be tour companies, this could be travel agencies, this could be anybody that has a services category. We can go in here and we can talk about what we provide, what we offer. We give them a little bit more information, and then usually backlinks to our website. Now, the ability to actually have one of these options given to us is dependent upon our categories. Your category gives you the option of having, let's say, a menu or an agency service. But a good way around that is by adding these additional categories. So if you are a hotel, let's just give an example here. As a hotel, you do not have the option of services. Now, hotels usually offer a lot of different services, and that's not really something that they would want to skip out on. But by adding the additional feature of maybe that they are hosts to events, as an event venue, that would add services. If they add on wedding venue, that would maybe add on services and maybe even products or something else. The more categories you add in, the more of these options you can find yourself in. The more times you are in these options, the more you can play with it, and the more times you might end up in those searches that you want to be in. So in the search engine, we're going to go in here and we can go to edit profile. There's now actually a menu option. If we were in this section, it'd be edit profile, promote customers. And there's another button here called menus. We would go to menu. When we select menu, it's going to let us create an entire selection, a main course, appetizer. We can categorize it pretty distinctly. And then we can actually insert our photography. Now, your pricing changes pretty often. I understand that. So you don't technically have to input a price most of the time. But we want to make sure we're keeping this up to date and people know what to expect. So usually it's better to input that. Also, a really good description. When you're all done on your end, it'll look a little bit something like this. On the customer's end, it'll look like that photo we saw before, where it is highlighted. It's big, beautiful, these great pictures. People can talk about it, leave reviews where they can mention this item. It's a really great way to distinguish maybe a specific item that you're really proud of. And it's a good option that Google gives us now. Typically, I did mention as well that our customers are able to say, hey, this is what I had here. This was the item that we had. Maybe it's not added to Google yet. If this was like a limited run item, or maybe they just uploaded a really bad picture or just put the wrong name in, we can suggest edits to that. So it means we can go in and say, hey, this dish name is not correct. We can just say, hey, it's the wrong dish name. Maybe someone just put something offensive on there. We could usually try and remove that. Or frankly, hey, you ate this down the road. You didn't even come here. This isn't even something we serve. This happens all the time. Be aware of what people are posting onto your business profiles. I also wanted to just give another shout out. Last time, I did mention if you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the Q&A as we go. The Q&A is a really good section for me to see these questions as they come up. I'm going to wait till the end to answer them, but I want those ideas fresh in your brain for those questions as they might come across. So if you have something, put it in the Q&A section, and then we can get back to it a little bit later. But I want to see these questions come in because I love good questions. So jumping into photography. Photography is really important for a business profile. And I think a lot of people know that. We put on our marketing caps, we love good photos because frankly, images inspire. Images inspire customers to make that leap in that decision. A good photo can mean the difference between somebody staying at home or making that extra little bit of time to visit your business. Myself, if I see a picture where I can give a dolphin a smooch, I'm there any day. That is just amazing. Not that you would maybe have dolphins in your business, but if you do, that's cool. Think about what images can inspire you and try and input these on a regular basis. Now, not only are images pretty to look at, but they are impactful to your business. Businesses with over 100 photos have significantly higher exposure rates. Bright Local did a survey And they found that businesses with over 100 photos had a 291% increase to their exposure. So my goal, and I think the big takeaway for today, for a lot of businesses would be, look at your images, look how many you have. And your goal would be 291 of those images. No, your goal is 100 images. If you can get to 100 images on your business, that would be great. If you want to take that a step further and you say, I already have 100 images, like I don't need to add more to that, it's going to be that you should have 100 images by owner. Photos by owner do a lot better on Google than photos by maybe a consumer. Consumer posts a photo and it's not always the highest quality. So we see when an owner posts a photo, it actually will perform a lot better. On top of this, we can increase these numbers as well. Another survey found that just by continuously adding 4 or 5 photos per month resulted in another 10 to 30% lift in exposure ratings for your business. Now, for businesses, that's a lot of exposure. So what it means is have 100 photos. And if you don't already have 100 photos and you don't have 100 photos you can upload right now, it's just to slowly start uploading every single month. And I would say even add this onto your social media timeline. So if you're going to post something to Facebook or Instagram, you should also be posting an image to Google because we want to see that when that comes up. Now, so 4 or 5 photos per month is pretty easy. It's a weekly upload, and typically as a business, we should be taking photos regularly anyways. So these photos for us to upload, you might be saying, well, what do I need to do? What photos do I need to take? I'm trying to get rid of this bar. I'm sure everyone can see up here. So your best practices for these photography are going to be, 1, your photos need to be informative. Consider the scope, the scale, and the context of the place that you're capturing. What would a visitor want to see from the photos that you're providing? Secondly, and most importantly, is your photo attractive? It needs to be a good, attractive photo. Consider your color, your contrast, your saturation, the lighting, the focus, and the leading lines. All of that makes a difference, not only to the consumers who are seeing it, but also to Google, who might want to say, this is a good photo. We're going to put this a little bit higher in your photo reel. 3, and this is the kicker for a lot of businesses out there, your photography needs to be recent. Your customers are looking at your photos and they can see when the last time you've uploaded was. Your customers want reassurance that yes, we are open, yes, we are safe. What does your business look right now? So even if nothing has changed with your business in the last 5 years, you look exactly the same, the streets the same, your business front's the same, the inside's the same. It's not just about, hey, this is what it looks like, but it's recency and consistency make a big difference for your consumer confidence and also for Google's algorithm. Now, the photo on the left is obviously a really good photo. It's the same one that we used in our previous example. It's informative, it's attractive, it's easy to understand. It's really bright, really good framing. And then the photo on the right is actually the very same Ferris wheel. You can see the sign right here, but it blends in with the background. Also notice the photo's a little off kilter. It's muddy, it's not attractive, it isn't particularly informative. We can kind of see a couple signs here, but they're not really easy to read. Also, if I was here and it looked like this, if I saw this picture, I wouldn't want to go. I would say this is just a creepy parking lot and I don't want to be there. But we know this is what it looked like. This is not what it looks like. But either way, this is what bad photography does. So on my team, the destination optimization team, we did a test. We decided we're going to take these rules to heart and we're going to take some photos. We took 2 photos. We took one that's on the left of this plate of food. We followed the guidelines. We, kept it simple. good lighting, leading lines, color, contrast, all of that. And it turned out really well. We had gained over 111,000 views on that photo. The picture on the right, we took in a way that you might say a typical customer might take a photo of a plate of food. It does not look good. It looks like a plate of raw fish. Frankly, I wouldn't want to order that if I see that. While the one on the left is this very same plate, I would definitely order that one. So there are a couple rules with Google and photography. So keep these in mind as you upload. You can only upload photos that you have created or that you own the complete rights to. If you are using someone else's work, it can be removed and they can technically take legal action against you. Only use photos that you have the rights to. Photographers, I'm on your side. I'm trying to help you. Also, only upload photos that are at least 4K images, 3840 by 2160. If you upload it any less than that, Google will reject it and it will not be uploaded. So if you might be wondering, why are my photos not being taken on Google? It's probably because maybe the resolution isn't high enough. I also want to say, do not use filters. Limit your edits to brightness, color, contrast, and saturation. This is because if we use a filter, we're seeing that these filters gain a lot less viewership, and it's actually drastically less. If Google senses something on these photos and it has a way to scan them to see what's there, it can tell, and then it will actually promote that photo less. They'll put it lower down in that photo reel, so you gain less attention there. So don't add any texts on top of it. Don't add any filters. Don't add any watermarks or logos, because Google can tell this stuff, and they just want a clean and they just want an image that that shows exactly what it is. Next, avoid seasonal images. There's a story I tell along with this one, and it just kind of brings home exactly what sometimes consumers can go through, and their mental state isn't exactly what we always can think of. I worked with a ski resort in just outside Denver, and they were really baffled because someone left them a really bad review. And I was talking with them, and then I read it, and what had happened is a family had visited this ski resort in the middle of July, and they wanted to go skiing, and they left a bad review because they could not go skiing. Because there was no snow on the ground and the slopes were closed, and the resort was open, but the ski slopes were closed. Now, they left a bad review because they couldn't go skiing. We looked at all the photos. It was people, skiing in winter times, spring skiing. It looked like it did actually genuinely look like that people could ski year round. So this family had looked at their photos and had gotten confused and left a negative review actually because of that. Spread out what your business looks like across all seasons. If they're going to come there in the middle of January, we want to see what it's going to look like then. Show the beautiful fall colors that you guys get. Show off everything. We want to see all the seasons that you have there. So for your photography now, we want to make sure that we're keeping these photos horizontal. Now, as smartphone users, we take pictures like this. We hold our phones up and we snap this picture vertically. Now, this is not a bad thing. We can do this still, but it looks different when it's uploaded to Google. If we turn our phones to the side and we do a landscape, it looks a lot better on Google and it gets a lot more views. So when you're uploading photos to Google, make sure it's not a portrait, but a landscape on your phone's side. Google can use these images a lot better and they promote them more. If you're going to shoot an interior with, Google does not want to see people in that interior. They do not want to have any type of identifiable faces. So my recommendation is don't have anybody in your photos. Keep your photos of just the store or your business, what it would be, but try to keep faces and bodies out of it. If you have any of that in there, Google might say, hey, there's a person here, we're not really sure, we're just going to put it a little bit lower in the queue. The viewership could be lower. Keep that in mind. Now, if you are like, let's just say a theater where you're obviously going to have people in your photos, my recommendation here would be to just make sure you have a release form saying that they can be in your photos. And if you're going to be, if you're like a tour operator and you're taking pictures and you want to publish them, typically you can add in at the beginning, I'm able to use your photos as, for social media marketing content. Do that as well. Have a release form, have something just showing that are allowed to use that person's image. So, Edward actually just asked. I'm just gonna address this one now because it's right here. So, Edward, if you're gonna have any file size recommendations, the file needs to be at least 4K. So it's at least 3840 by 2160. Flagging photos. So as businesses, we should be aware of what's being uploaded to our photo reels. Keep an eye out on a monthly basis and just go through and just do a quick scroll and see what people have posted to your business profile. If you get notifications when someone posts something, that's great. We want to see what they post. We want to see that good photo. But inevitably, we are going to get bad photography. 90% of photos available for your business are supplied by your customers, which means a majority of photos, most of the time for businesses, are supplied by people. We know people are not the best photos. I also want to point out that 49 customers' photo counts, customers' photo count for less than half of all views, which means your photos will do significantly better on viewership than a customer's photo, which is why earlier when I said 100 photos, and then if you can take that a step further, do 100 photos by owner, it's all about that viewership. Now, when we get into this, we can go and we can see our photos. We can just click on here on our search engine, open up our photo album, and then we have a couple different tabs we can go through. And some ones look different, like all exterior, food and drink. As businesses, we're not actually able to create these folders. It's done by actually our customers when they upload photos, but we can go through and we can see exactly who uploads what. Now, bad photos are bound to happen. If they do come in, just make sure that you are aware of it. And right here is a little flag that you can click on to flag this photo. Now, depending on your browser, I've seen that same flag down here in the middle or up here on the top left as a 3-dot menu. Just take a look for it for a second and you can generally find it pretty easily. I want to point out too that for photography, it is when we upload when we report a photo, it is typically going to take a period of time before that photo is taken down. And that could be in the span of sometimes weeks to months. Most often, we've seen the month mark actually be the one that it takes. And it takes so long because real people at Google have to review these flagged photos. That's a lot of flagged images that these people have to review every single day. So it does take time. Sometimes we're lucky and it gets through pretty quickly, but oftentimes these guys are just flying through these pictures and probably are a little jaded at what's being reported. Now, if a photo, it needs to be taken down immediately, and I mean, it is just the worst thing that's ever been posted anywhere. First off, send it to me, and I can help take that down. I have a whole channel of people at our company where we will flag these photos. So if you have something, let me know. Go through office hours and just say, hey, here's this really bad photo, and we'll get it taken down. The more people that you get to flag this photo, the more likely it is to come down. As a business owner or manager, if you flag that photo 15 times on your account, it's the same thing to Google. They don't see 15 flags. They see one flag, one account with 15 flags. It means nothing to them. But if we can get multiple people to flag these photos, it has been proven that these photos come down a lot more reliably and a lot faster. So if you have anybody at your business, any staff, friends, family, just have everybody report these photos. Let me know about it. We can get that usually taken down from like months to sometimes a week. little coffee break. All right. So Google has an option now called updates or posts. You might have heard either term interchangeably. This is an area where I'm going to just relate this to maybe like a social media post. It's where we can go in on Google and talk about something that's happening with us. Now, these posts appear alongside your Google Business profile. You've probably used them before, and you've probably seen them pretty often. But when you search for business, it's going to appear there, and it appears right here. It's very visible. It's very viewable. They're also very searchable. These posts are completely free. It is a huge amount of organic visibility for your business. So by using this, you're doing a lot of different things. You're adding, keywords into your profile on Google, which means that you're more likely to show up in searches for that keyword. We like that as business owners and managers. We want to show up in as many searches as we can. Hotels, you get posts, but you only get access to 2 out of the 3. So there's three different types. There are updates, which would be like a social media post, offers, which are going to be along the lines of like, hey, I'm running a sweet deal on this item. It's buy one, get one, come in and get it now. Or 3, events. So events are going to be if you are hosting an event and you want people to know about it, or if you are attending an event and you want people to hear that you're going to be there because you want some face-to-face time. This is a really great way to get out there. Hotels only get 2 out of the 3. They do not get offers. Google has its own platform for them to use for a type of offer, but they do not allow offers through posts. Our posts can also appear in the Explore section of Google Maps. You see it every once in a while. They have limited this a little bit, but they still come up time to time. Posts appear in the Explore section of the Google Maps app. So if you open your phone and you go to Google Maps, posts from businesses can appear in this area. We're seeing a little bit less of these actually nowadays, but it can still sometimes sneak its way in. The Explore section is really going to be right now about reviews and updates from customers, but they want to hear from businesses as well. It's a really great way too if you're exploring a destination and you want to see maybe like some good reviews around you. Where are people going? What's really popular? Go to Google Maps, go to Explore, scroll through it for a little bit and see what people are talking about, which restaurants they might be raving about, and which ones to avoid too. Now, our posts should be pretty straightforward and to the point. The big thing here is use an attention-grabbing photo. Use a photo that is going to turn someone's head. This will do the best. Now, there are some things here with that photo that we need to be careful about. We do have to follow Google's guidelines with this photo. So if we are uploading any images of, let's just say, alcohol, if you're a brewery, a winery, maybe you just own a bar and you're running a special on, like a beer that's on sale because you need to get rid of it, we can't actually use that as an image. It's against Google's guidelines. And I've seen it before where people will use alcohol in their images and will actually get suspended from Google. And a Google suspension, if you don't know, good for you. You don't want to know if this happens to you, but your entire Google Business profile is removed from the platform for several weeks, and you have to go through an entire system to get it back up there. Not fun, not easy. Focus your message on the first 100 characters. We want to make sure that when a potential customer sees this, that we're inspiring them to make a decision. So focus it in the first 100 characters, because if they just are seeing, jibber jabber in that first 100, they're just going to keep scrolling. Posts also allow us to add our own tracking codes and CTA buttons, call to action buttons. This could be go to my website here, go to my products page, whatever that you are doing. If it's like a product or if it's an event, make sure it's the landing page for that item. Don't just send them to your basic website page. Because I know I'm guilty of, if I click on something and it takes me to your landing page versus that product page, I don't really want to look for it half the time. I'm just going to say, well, maybe next time. So have it go to the landing page for the product or where you want them to end up. For events, make sure you are posting early. I don't think I need to say this really too much, but if you do it the day before, you're not going to get much from it. If you do it early enough, like let's just say the week before, you have time for that post to gain some traction, gain following. Also, let your community know that what you're happening. If you're having an event, to ask them to also post about that event too. It is a really great way to get the word around. The more times it appears to a customer, excuse me, the more likely they are to make that decision to go there. All right, so Google Business Profile has a feature called questions and answers. Uh, all businesses have this. It's a place for our customers to ask us questions. Now, these questions are usually good questions to have. They're very public and they appear everywhere that your business profile can appear. Be aware though, anybody can ask a question and anybody can respond to a question. Local guides, most prominently, are the ones who respond to these. Now, that means that someone who's not affiliated with this business is answering questions about your business, which might not be accurate. Be aware of what's being said and make sure that you are either giving it a thumbs up or you are giving your own response and reporting that question for being inaccurate. There's a lot of different things on here that I want to point out too. It's one, how to respond to a good question and answer. On the left here, we have a really good question. When is this going to happen? When's the fall motorcycle meet? We had a local guide respond to it just in a snarky way. It's like what you'd see in the Facebook comment section. We do not want to obviously respond to our customers like that. We do not want local guides responding to our customers like that. We want a good informative answer right here, just like this one, where they give a breakdown of when it is and when it's going to be reliably year after year. Be aware that this Q&A section it will be responded to by local guides generally faster than business owners. My recommendation, turn on your notifications for Q&A. Make sure you get notified so that you can give the accurate, up-to-date information. So a local guide is somebody, if you don't know, I want to throw this out there. A local guide is somebody it's a person. It's an everyday person like you or me. They're not affiliated with the business. Maybe they are, but it's a separate profile though. We sign up to be in the local guide program. Now the goal here is to upload photos, videos, 360s. We can edit facts about a business. So we could say, hey, these business hours are wrong. We want to update them from these hours to these hours. I can say your phone number is wrong. I can change your address sometimes too. And if you see information kind of get mixed around on Google, most commonly it's because of a local guide. We can add missing places. We can respond to Q&A. We can even leave reviews and ratings. It's also a great place to upload photography for other businesses. Do not do this for your own business under the local guide program. It's against the guidelines. But we can see how many photos we've uploaded to other businesses, and we can track a view count of how many views that your photos are gaining. Now, if someone goes to your viewership and they click on your profile because it was a good picture, it will actually take them to all of your reviews and all the places that you've seen. A cool way just to kind of spread out around some photos and good reviews. If you are looking to be a part of a local guide program, just search local guide, Google local guide program, sign up, something like that. You just put in, it's really easy to do. You put in your location, you put in just some other things, and that's it. You start out at level 1, and then the more that you do any of these, the more points you get, and the higher your star rating is. The more points you have on this star, the higher ranked local guide you are. Now, 95% of businesses that we have audited have had questions and answers from a customer. Less than 15% have had answers from the business owner. That is a devastating statistic. Business owners should be responding to these most frequently because they are going to give the most reliable information. So go to your Q&A section and click on Q&A. It'll be in the same section as edit profile. You can even see that's where edit menu is there, food ordering. But go to Q&A, click on that, and that's where you'll be able to go to respond to those. I want to make sure your notifications are on for these. So this three-dot menu right here is, if we click on that, it opens up this panel. This is where like business profile settings are, notifications, help and support. If you want to get a hold of Google, this is where you go to do that. But we're going to go to notifications. Make sure questions and answers is on so that you're notified when a question comes in. So you're able to respond to it in a timely manner. You can even get text messages when customers send a message to you. But I would do that for questions and answers. I would do that for reviews, messagings, absolutely. We want to make sure that we're being aware of when customers interact with us and we are able to respond to them in a timely manner. So when a customer asks a question, it's going to come in. We're going to see, hey, Google sent me an email, and it's going to be, here's a little debrief of what the question is. Do you want to answer it? When you click on Answer Now, it's going to take you into your Google page, where it's going to take you to the Q&A section itself. Now you'll see an actual breakdown of the question. Am I able to bring my pet with me? Now, for me, that's a big question. I have 2 dogs. I want to bring them with me when I can. It's important for me to know if a business is pet friendly or not. This is also an attribute many businesses have if you are pet friendly. Now, I can go in here and I can ask that question. The business owner will get it notified and can then respond to that question. Make sure it's friendly, it's accurate, and it's potentially timeless too, because if people want to go back, they want to see that information has not changed. I also want to point out something too. There is nothing stopping a business owner from asking their own question and responding to it themselves. If you have people asking the same question day after day after day, you can actually alleviate some of that confusion by going to the Q&A section, asking that question, and responding to it as the business owner. You're more than able to do that. There's nothing in the guidelines saying that you cannot do that. Now, when you get a bad response to your Q&A section, so we have our friend Beardy Blue here, we are able to flag this. If you get a bad response to any Q&A, or if it's inaccurate, or maybe just off topic, or it's inappropriate, we are able to flag that. The same thing stands here though. Real people have to review these, and sometimes they can be jaded, and they might not realize, hey, this isn't something we want on a business's page. The more people we get to flag these, the more likely it is that these bad responses will be taken down. Just be aware of that, and then be aware of what's on the Q&A section that on your business as well. So it's fairly straightforward to do this. If you wanted to ask a question, you would just click on Ask Question, go to it, ask that question, and again, it's very visible. Now, our reviews. Reviews are a big part of Google, and it's something that is very prominent on our Google pages. 98% of consumers read reviews for local businesses. 40% of consumers will only use a business if it has 4 or more stars. And 89% of consumers say they would be fairly or highly likely to use a business that responds to all of our reviews. So not only is it important that you get good reviews consistently, but it's also important that we respond to our reviews in a timely manner. Responding to reviews is really important. Here's a graph that Bright Local did for 2021, 2022, 2020. It goes back. The platforms with the most frequently used review sections are Google, Yelp, Facebook, and TripAdvisor. So Google right here, and you can see, is the largest. They were the biggest in this section, followed actually by Yelp, Facebook was one of the only ones that went down. Its review section went from 54% to 48%. TripAdvisor, and then weirdly enough, Apple Maps is down here when they don't even have a review section. They piggyback off of Yelp and TripAdvisor for reviews, but they're on this list anyways. Now, the platform that customers find have the most trustworthy reviews are going to be most prominently Google. People find Google reviews are more trustworthy. 42% say it's usually trustworthy, and 20% say it's always trustworthy. TripAdvisor is actually pretty close second. And then again, third, that weird Apple Maps is actually higher than Yelp on here and Facebook when it uses those platforms' reviews. So Apple Maps is a weird one, but at the same time, people trust those reviews on there. And if your business is not on Apple Maps, it's a good platform to be on. Your reviews influence your rank. Now, the more reviews you get and the better your reviews are, the more likely you are to end up in this local pack section. So if you have this review section, you can see here, we can see how many you have and your average rating. It's very prominent. Now on Google, 81% of reviews are 4 or more stars. Less than 4% are 1-star reviews. That means that Google users are typically a lot nicer. The median rating on Google is 4.4 stars. Customers' reviews are posted directly to your business page. They are viewable by everybody. Anybody that sees your business page can also see your review section. They can also see your response. A couple rules that I would give to business owners is one, be aware that this review is viewable. A bad review is bad, but sometimes how you respond to that review is actually more important than maybe a 5-star review would be to you. So getting a bad review and responding to it in the right way can sometimes be better off than if that was a 5-star review. On the review section, never offer anything for free. If someone leaves you a bad review because they had a bad experience, do not say, "I'm so sorry you had a bad experience with my business. Here is a free piece of cake. Come back and let me know." Because you're about to get a lot of bad reviews. People are going to review bomb you just to get that free piece of cake. We don't want that. So never offer anything for free. Never argue with a customer on there. Never criticize them. Never say anything negative about them because, again, it is very visible. And if you respond to a review in a negative way, that's going to tell customers that maybe that review might be correct. Responding to these reviews is good for consumer confidence. Respond to 30% of your reviews for an 80% boost in conversions. Responses show that you're attentive to customers. So to break this down, 30% is just 3 in 10. So just respond to 3 reviews for every 10 that you get. I would respond to all of them if you can, but some businesses you just physically can't keep up with the thousands that you might be getting. But 3 in 10 is usually a pretty good number. And it has statistics from Uberall that show that it does do us a lot of good. When we want to respond to these reviews, it's very straightforward. We're just going to go to our review section or customers on our search engine page where we can then respond to them. We just go in there, we say, hey, we want to reply to this review, and also notice that we have a little thumbs up button. Some reviews, people just give us 5 stars without saying anything, or they'll give us 1 star without saying anything. Now, if they give you 1 star without saying anything, respond to it. If they give you 5 stars without saying anything, give them a thumbs up. It just shows that they're attentive, that the owner's attentive, and that you've seen it and that you appreciate their feedback. If they leave text in there, that's when you want to respond with text back. So Yelp. Yelp is a page that we are all familiar with. 68% of star ratings provided by users on Yelp are 4 or 5 stars. 18% are 1-star reviews. Yelpers are and can be negative. Now, this does not mean don't be on Yelp. This just means be aware that negative reviews are more likely here. The SEO that comes with being on another platform is more important to me, and it should be to you as well, than potential bad reviews that may never come. Yelp will actually leverage their reviewers in a recommend review only. You've probably heard the term Yelpers before, where an actual person has a standing on Yelp. their reviews will show up higher on the platform. This is not something that is really, I think, thought of in a nice way in the community, but that's how it is. Um, Yelp does not want you asking for reviews, so just don't ask for anybody. They also have software that actively targets reviews that have been solicited. So if you pay for reviews, Yelp can actually see that and then remove your business listing. TripAdvisor is another great platform for reviews. It's really well done. TripAdvisor is a unique platform because it is based off of a ranking factor. It's very unique to TripAdvisor and it is really well done. Your ranking is based off of your reviews and your standing against your businesses alongside you. So on a day-by-day basis, your ranking is based on quality, quantity, and recency of your business and the businesses around you. So every day that this changes, you can go in there and see. Maybe today you'll be number 1, tomorrow you'll be number 2, 3, 4, back to number 1. It changes just depending on what happens. A commercial relationship with TripAdvisor has no impact on your ranking. That being said, the more people that you might come across your business page through a commercial relationship, the more likely they are to visit, the more likely they are to leave a review, and the higher you might end up. But there's no guarantee. Your responses to these reviews are not factored in either. So I want to point out that through all of these steps, this is really interesting for me too. I'm a data person. We can track the difference that these make. It's easy to track, actually. We can go in and we can look at our performance now, and then we can go through in several months when we have time to make these updates. So performance is unique to your Google Business Profile. This is not Google Analytics. So click on this and it's going to give you a breakdown of different statistics and data about your Google Business Profile, not your website. Click there. It's going to open up this tab. This tab is really good. It gives us a month-by-month breakdown of our viewership, our numbers. We can track who clicks what and where. And then it's just an amazing spot for good data. What devices did they search for us on? Where were they? What keywords did they search for that we ended up in? This is a big one. We want to know exactly where we're going to be found. So the breakdown of these past 2 webinars. Make sure your hours are up to date. Make sure your hours are there, and because that is critical to consumer confidence. Your categories and attributes influence where your business can appear. Post 4 photos every month for a 30% lift in exposure. Post updates for that free visibility. Respond to 30% of your reviews for an 80% lift in conversions. And make sure to monitor your performance from start to finish with all of this. We want to see how this changes and how this makes a difference for your business page. Now, a couple tools and support we have here. One is the Local Tourism Marketing Academy. This is provided for free, and we have access to this until it's actually, I think, July now of 2024. We can go here by visiting montgomerycounty.tourismbusinessmarketing.com. Lisa did just put that link in the chat. Don't feel like you need to write this down right away. It's in chat. Just make sure you save that somewhere. The access code is Montgomery. You're going to sign in with your Google account. This is a platform with a lot of good information on it. We can talk a lot about social media marketing, what's on the social media pages, what you need to focus on today. If you want to know more about search engine optimization, we have a couple articles on there as well for it. As you interact with these lessons, you can mark them as complete, and you can gain badges to track how much of it you've done. If you have a question or you want more information on one of these, feel free to send us a question using the platform. You are able to do that. Just go to the question section and it sends it directly to us where we can get back to you. Something that might be interesting for everybody here today as well is the Google Business Profile Checkup tool. Now, the Google Business Profile Checkup tool is a way that you can track a lot of this information. It's a self-assessment and recommendation report done by Miles Partnership. It will track your profile completeness, your profile performance, and your customer sentiment analysis. This is all really good information. Lisa just put that link in the chat. It's going to be montgomerycounty.gmbcheckup.com. Check it out. It's a really good platform and it gives you really good recommendations too. I'm going to call this out one more time as well. Our office hours. We have office hours where we can go through any of these steps. Maybe we want to spend some more time on a question that you have. You can sign up here. There's going to be a link in chat for this a little farther back, or Lisa's put another one in. Thank you, Lisa. Where we can sit down and talk about this information. All right. I also want to call out one thing as well. In May, we have an incoming in-market seminar where we'll be in the area giving a 2-hour presentation on a lot of content based around these platforms. We'll have more information sent out about that here shortly too. All right. And Lisa, did you have something you were saying?
We have some questions in chat for you.
Lovely.
And question and answers.
My first question for menus: if we have a highly rotating menu, is there a way to tie the Google menu to our website that I update? I would need to update the Google page each time. Wouldn't that be nice? I would love that. No, unfortunately, right now there's no API that connects your website to the Google menu section. I think there's a way you can do that with other platforms, but Google right now, it is manual, which is agreeably frustrating. My recommendation there is I would just give an hour a week to it and just say, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and update this on a weekly basis, maybe upload some photos to it. And just kind of realize that when you do this, it's doing a lot of good for your business too. Where do you find the list of Google's rules for images? What else could cause profile suspension? That's a really good question. So Google posts, and they have a lot of different forums that they have this stuff in. There's a lot of different companies that track these interactions with Google. And there's a lot of guidelines that Google posts everywhere. So if you spend some time and you look up, Google photo regulations, you're going to find that there is a very long, heavily worded list of things that Google recommends that you do and not do. Usually found in crazy different places. So what happens there is we can find a lot of information there. What else could cause a profile suspension? Profile suspensions are most commonly seen by somebody who may be updated information on their page. When you update information on your Google page, most commonly this is going to be like your business name, your business address, or maybe like even your phone number. This can cause a suspension. I see this all the time when a business will actually, when the very first time that they verify their business profile, they go in and they want to change everything. So they change their name, their address, because everything's wrong. They want to update it, and they do this right away. What happens is that raises a lot of red flags to Google, and that says, hey, this business has been left alone forever, and we just got a lot of changes. We're going to suspend it. We want to hear from this owner because we want to make sure that they're the real business owner. That's another way that we see that the business pages are getting suspended. It's more common that way than maybe photos, but photos, we've seen it happen in the past too.
And Henry, we have Christina in the chat.
I logged into the checkup tool. It says my business is temporarily closed. When I look on my Google listing, it does not say temporarily closed. Very interesting. I will take a look at the page and I'll get with our developers and say, hey, this is saying something maybe it shouldn't be saying to somebody. It takes information from your page itself. So when you link it to your performance, it takes information from there. Maybe it's just having a miscommunication along the way. I'll have to look into that. But thank you, Christina, for letting me know about that. All right. Well, if anybody has any more questions, I would say I'm happy to meet with you in office hours. And thank you for everybody for being here today and taking time out of your day to learn all of the things about Google. And I look forward to being in market there in May for our